Carly goes to war with Z and demands the truth about Valentin. Oh, darlings, strap in, because Carly is about to do what Carly does better than almost anyone alive. She is going to walk straight up to one of the most powerful men on the planet, look him dead in the eyes, and absolutely refuse to back down until she gets every single answer she came for. No softening. No diplomacy. No patience whatsoever. Just Carly, raw, fierce, terrified underneath all that fury, fighting for the man she loves with everything she has. Here is where things stand. Spoon Island just became a full-blown operation. A helicopter descended. SWAT agents swarmed the grounds. And leading the charge was Z himself, the top of the entire WSB, arriving with a kind of authority that makes grown men step aside without a single word being exchanged. For a split second, it could have felt like relief. Like the nightmare was finally ending. Like the good guys had shown up exactly when they were needed most. But Carly is scanning every single face stepping off that helicopter. She is looking through the chaos and the noise and the armed agents moving in every direction. And Valentin is not there. He is simply not anywhere on that island. And the last thing Ross told her, before everything fell apart around him, was that Valentin was gone. That Z was working with Ross. That the man Carly had opened her heart to had essentially walked into something he was not walking back out of. Was Ross lying? Almost certainly. The man built his entire existence around manipulation and deception. But Carly cannot know that for certain. And the not knowing is tearing her apart from the inside out. So when she comes face to face with Z, there is no warm greeting. There is no gratitude expressed for the rescue operation. But Carly goes straight for the throat, because that is the only way she knows how to operate when someone she loves is missing and the people with answers are standing right in front of her. She makes it crystal clear that as far as she is concerned, the WSB does not get to arrive on a white horse after years of corruption, double-dealing, and dangerous incompetence and expect her to bow her head in appreciation. She has watched this organization destroy lives. She watched Ross operate as a double agent right underneath everyone's noses for months. So standing there looking at Z, this powerful, authoritative, completely composed man, Carly cannot help but wonder out loud how she is supposed to trust that he is any different. How does she know he is not running the same kind of dirty game Ross was running? How does anyone know? She brings up Jack too because that wound is still very fresh and very raw. The danger that Jocelyn was put in because of decisions made inside that organization is not something Carly is anywhere close to forgiving. And speaking of Jocelyn, Carly goes there too. Her daughter is still committed to this life, still working within this world, and Carly simply cannot wrap her mind around it. In her most desperate, most frightened moment as a mother, she accuses Z of having somehow influenced Jocelyn into believing this path is worth the risk. She cannot accept that Jocelyn made this choice with full and clear understanding of what it means, because accepting that would mean accepting that her daughter is choosing danger voluntarily. Z, for his part, is not particularly moved by any of this. He is a man with an operation to run and a compromised agency to deal with, and he makes it very plain that managing Carly's emotions is nowhere on his list of priorities. He tells her, firmly, without apology, that Valentin is not something he is able to discuss at this moment, that there are far more pressing matters demanding his attention, and that, of course, is the absolute worst thing he could possibly say to Carly. Because telling Carly that something is not up for discussion is not a boundary she respects. It is a challenge. And she is not leaving that island without answers. Sidwell falls, and Sonny reclaims his throne. Now let us talk about something that every single person who has been watching this storyline has been waiting for, because the man who came into Port Charles thinking he could actually dismantle Sonny, outmaneuver him, outlast him, and take everything the name Corinthos has built over decades, that man is finished. Sidwell is on his way out the door. And with his exit comes a power shift in Port Charles that is going to reshape everything going forward. Let us be honest about Sidwell for a moment. He was not a simple villain. He came in with genuine purpose and real resources, and a personal wound that drove him in a way that purely calculated enemies never quite match. He had reasons. He had a mission. And he executed his plan with intelligence and persistence that genuinely made him dangerous. He used every tool available to him. He tried using Justine to back Sunny into an inescapable corner. He did not flinch. He did not hesitate. But it was never going to be enough. Because this is Sunny's city. It has been Sunny's city for a very long time. And every single person who has ever tried to take that from him has ended up the same way, gone, while Sunny is still standing. The confrontation between these two men is going to be the dramatic, tension-soaked face-off this entire storyline has been building toward. And while the exact details of how Sidwell exits, whether it is in handcuffs heading toward a prison cell or something far more permanent, have not been locked down completely, the outcome is not in question. Sidwell loses. Sunny wins. That is where this road ends. The more interesting question is what happens after. Because with Sidwell gone, something opens up for Sunny that he has not had in a long time. Space. Room to breathe. Room to rebuild. Room to remind every person in Port Charles exactly who he is and what the name Corinthos carries in this town. Sunny has been on defense for too long. He has been reactive, responding to Sidwell's moves instead of making his own. All of that is about to change. Summer spoilers are pointing towards Sunny going on full offense when it comes to restoring his power and reputation. And he is not going to be doing it alone. Rick is stepping back into the picture in a significant way, and Sunny is placing a real level of trust in that alliance as he moves forward. But Jason, once he finds his way back home, is going to look at that arrangement and feel deeply, instinctively uncomfortable about it. Jason has always been the person who tells Sunny the things Sunny does not necessarily want to hear. He is not going to be loud about it or dramatic about it. That is not who Jason is. But he is going to make sure Sunny knows that in his view, the trust being placed in Rick may be more than the situation warrants. Whether Sunny listens is, as always, another question entirely. What is certain is that Port Charles is entering a new chapter of power, and Sunny is positioning himself right at the center of it. Ross is gone, and the man who played him says farewell. And now, darlings, the ending that General Hospital has been building toward for 6 extraordinary months. The moment when everything Ross built, every scheme he ran, every person he threatened and manipulated and tried to destroy, all of it came crashing down in one single, stunning, unforgettable moment. Jocelyn pulled the trigger.
And Ross is dead.
Let us sit with that for just a second, because the way this ended matters enormously. Jocelyn was not standing tall and unharmed when she fired that shot. She was wounded. She had been through something harrowing inside those walls. She was running on pure survival instinct and an absolute refusal to let this man win. She crawled to that weapon. She reached for it with whatever strength she had left in her body.
And she used it.
That is not a rescue. That is a woman saving herself. And the power of that moment, the fact that it was Jocelyn who ended this, not a hero arriving at the last second, not someone sweeping in to protect her, that is exactly the kind of storytelling that makes General Hospital great. Jocelyn has been underestimated throughout this entire ordeal, and she answered every single doubt with that one shot. Now, when Z arrived on the scene in the immediate aftermath, there was a moment of uncertainty. He did not stop to verify what had happened to Ross. He moved on to other priorities. And that brief window of ambiguity was enough to leave some fans wondering whether Ross was truly finished or whether the show was leaving a door open.
The door is closed.
Ross is confirmed dead. The story is over. And the actor who breathed life into this villain for the past 6 months spoke beautifully about what this experience meant to him. What makes his words so genuinely touching is the humility and gratitude running through everything he said. He did not come into this show expecting what happened. He signed on for 3 episodes. 3. And somehow, through the power of a character that kept expanding and a story that kept finding new places to go, those 3 episodes turned into a full 6-month run of roughly 40 episodes total. That kind of experience changes a person. You cannot spend that much time inhabiting a character, building relationships with a cast and crew, showing up every day to a world as rich and layered as General Hospital's, and walk away unchanged. And the warmth he expressed for every single person he worked alongside, both in front of the camera and behind it, was completely genuine. Not a word of it felt performative. It felt like someone who had been genuinely welcomed into something special and knew it. He called the exit inevitable, and with clear eyes, it absolutely was. Ross was never going to ride off into a quiet sunset. The character was built for a dramatic ending. That was baked into who he was from the very beginning. But inevitable does not mean painless. Walking away from something that gave you that much was clearly difficult, even knowing it was the right and necessary conclusion. As for the send-off itself, he had no complaints. He called it epic. And honestly, being taken down by a wounded Jocelyn who refused to be a victim, that is about as epic as a villain's exit gets on this show. It honored everything the story built. It gave the moment to exactly the right person. And it closed this chapter in a way that is going to stay with viewers for a very long time. The future is not completely sealed for this particular actor when it comes to General Hospital. He made it known, enthusiastically and without hesitation, that if any opportunity arose to return, in any form, he would be there in a heartbeat. This show clearly left a permanent mark on him. And Port Charles has always had a way of pulling people back when the story calls for it. But for now, for this moment, we say goodbye to Ross. We say goodbye to 6 months of watching this calculating, dangerous, utterly compelling villain push Port Charles to its absolute limits. He arrived like a storm. He operated like a machine. And he went out in a blaze that reminded everyone watching exactly why they love this show. Jocelyn is standing. Sunny is rising. Carly is demanding answers. Jason is coming home. And Port Charles, battered, shaken, but absolutely alive, is turning the page to whatever comes next.